Greetings, my name is Jesse. That's the name that I'm using now for all media work. I'm just not gonna like this. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and get to it as fast as I can. So I will be moving some things as I am attempting to do this. Let me see if I get it right. And that's one of the first issues that I wanted to talk about. It's strange to believe that we are here, but the reality is that we are here. And here is a point in time in American history where the politicians don't want to listen to the people who elect them and who pay their salaries. In November 7th, on and around there, in and around there, I believe it was November 4th, the American people are going to go vote for a new Congress, among other municipal, county, state elections. And this summer and last summer, we saw a Republican Party, at least a lot of the members of the Republican Party, especially the leadership, who didn't want to hear the opinions of those who elected them, of conservatives, of people who don't believe in illegal immigration reform, who happen to believe the immigration law should be enforced, that the border should be secured, and that the politicians should emphasize the needs of the American citizens versus the needs of foreign nationals. I've written a lot on that issue. I think my opinion, or at least my contribution, is well known. Excuse me here. And excuse me, when I cough, I'm gonna go ahead and switch cameras. And I don't know why I switched cameras, but stay with this one because this one's the one that has sounds. And my opinion on immigration is known. Not my opinion of the people of Mexico. It is what I call science. When you study something, you look at the contributing factors, you look at cause and effect. We do live in a society where you don't have to be Mexican to be immoral and unethical. Every day we see behavior in our society of people driving like maniacs, running red lights, stop signs, cutting people off, and any number of other behaviors. And it's an indicator of the morality of individuals. I've always said behavior is an indicator of morality. And behavior of the people of Mexico, by how they manage their business in their own country, not paying taxes, stealing their neighbor's electricity, bribing law enforcement officers, entering the United States of America without the legal right to do so, with the intent of taking advantage of the American taxpayer by going to sign up for government programs that they have no legal right to. And it is important that the American people understand that it all plays a part in destroying society. And that's why it's important that all of us do our part in making sure that the people in charge listen to what good and decent people with good morals, good ethics, good work ethic, and who want to live in a country of freedom, liberty, and independence, to use those resources to find employment or career or business opportunity. As long as freedom reigns, there are individuals, companies engaged in the free market, and by their behavior they're creating jobs, careers, and investment opportunities. And when you're having to use the resources of the taxpayer to feed foreign nationals, to educate foreign nationals, you don't have enough money to take care of the people of the country. And that's a reality. Excuse me. I've always said the more I talk, the more I cough. So, but getting to the point of this video essay, the politician isn't listening. That means that the people have to make them listen. And I think one of the things that it says I was going to move around. I got to find something here to move to the next point. I think this is one of the reasons why people right now are sort of discouraged about getting involved. That's an important thing to do. We should not judge America by the actions of the politicians. We know who they are. We know who liberal Democrats are. We know who liberal Republicans are. And they are under the understanding that they're in charge, and at least they're under the assumption or the presumption that they are in charge and they're going to tell us what we should do. And that's not correct. The American people are the people who have to stand up and find a way for them to understand that they need to do with the American people, the majority of good and decent people. Today, I was watching some news program that emphasizes social media and things that are becoming quote-unquote viral. And the point that came to my mind is, we know that there's going to be childish, petty, immature, vulgar individuals making comments about making social commentary about the great issues of life. And what needs to happen is that the people who are sane and reasonable and of sound mind also have to give their opinion. If only 20% of the individuals are speaking, then it appears that the majority are of this mindset. But it's only 20%, so maybe 10%. So you need the majority to voice their opinion on whatever that issue is. One of the issues this morning was a mother who decided to harass her teenage daughter by following her to school because the daughter was ditching class. And ironically, I was having a heated discussion yesterday with someone about what a parent needs to do to influence a child and to put values that the child will use to manage his or her life throughout his or her life. And it is very poor parenting. This individual obviously is a poor parent, and that's why the child ditches class. And the answer is not to embarrass a child in school and to make such a big deal by posting videos on social media. And there's going to be people like that. So the majority has to stand up and speak clearly and say, this is wrong, and this is the reason that it's wrong. In this voting cycle, electing, trying to keep control of the House of Representatives, trying to gain control of the Senate, the American people who are sane, who are reasonable, who are good and decent people, are going to have to speak their voice and speak their voice loudly. And if you're discouraged because you believe that the politicians are going to do what the politicians are going to do and nothing that you can do will matter, then, if we do nothing, things will remain the same. If you don't vote, things will remain the same. If you don't speak, things will remain the same. And who they are shouldn't matter. We know who they are. What should matter is who we are, what we're willing to do to keep them in line. I have thought about it, I've written on it, and I've come to the conclusion that the answer is that we need to micromanage them every day, every second, every day, every week, of every month, of every year that they're in office. If they don't hear the American voice of the individual who is sound and reasonable, isn't trying to take advantage of taxpayers, who has a good work ethic, who believes that America's in danger with an $18 trillion national debt, if they don't hear the voice of those people, they're never going to change their ways. So we are the problem. They do what we allow them to do. Your emphasis as an excuse or a reason not to get involved shouldn't be who they are. I've come to the conclusion that it's over when I give up. That's when it's over. It's over when good and decent people give up. When you give up, then it really is over. But as long as we're willing to stay in the fight, then we can accomplish our goal, not only of saving America, but of making America better. And here I come to my next point. America does belong to the people. It doesn't belong to the politicians. It doesn't belong to Nancy Pelosi or Harry Reid or even Mitch McConnell or John Boehner. I've come to a certain point in my life where I recognize that it's not very honorable to speak badly of people. And really, we need to stop focusing on Mr. John Boehner, Mr. Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, and anybody else who thinks like they think. America's finances have been poorly administrated, not only by Obama, by the Democrats, and lately they have been helped in their irresponsible behavior by the Republicans. You have an $18 trillion debt. Republicans help the Democrats raise the national debt limit and continue programs to continue spending. There is no money. There is no printing of money. There's just creating phantom cash by typing digits into a keyboard, a computer keyboard. And that cannot continue. The American people deserve better, and the American people can offer themselves better. Again, it isn't what the politicians can offer us, it's about what we can offer ourselves. We need to stand up and we need to harass them in any means of communication, whether it's emailing, phone calling, writing letters, visiting them when they're at their town hall meetings. One of the things I have not seen are demonstrations and protests. I honestly believe that before November 4th, I believe that's the date, November 4th, 2014, midterm United States congressional elections. Before then, these politicians need to see a massive conservative demonstration out on the streets so they will see what they have to deal with when they are elected and they start making policy and start disregarding, listen to what I'm saying, when they start disregarding the public will again. It's sad that this is where we are. But we're here because we failed. We failed. We want to blame them. Yes, they're the ones that did it. If you want to use a simple example, they're the ones that threw the baseball through the window. But the reality is we're the ones that didn't supervise them. We're the ones that left them alone. We're the ones that let them do it. And in order to go forward, the American people, the American citizens, are going to have to take control and impress upon these elected officials that they have to listen to the public will. They have to respect the citizens' tax dollars. They need to stop spending money. They need to pay down the national debt. They need to get out of the business, get out of people's personal business, and get back to basics. Obama promised a lot. He has spent $10 trillion trying to make those promises come true. People are unemployed. People have lost their homes. Children are hungry and starving. And the proof of Obama's politics, policy initiatives, public policy, whatever you want to call it, is in the miserable state of the country. I would like to believe that business people are honorable people, but you and I know they're not. But it doesn't matter, because the ones that need to be honorable is you and I. Okay. We are the ones that have to set standards. We're in the calendar. Today is October 2nd, the year 2014. many people are suffering from the modern immaturity, modern pettiness, modern childishness, uh, arguing politics for the sake of arguing politics. And America's in a crisis. I was telling a person from Mexico that I was changing the channels and I came across a Spanish channel talking about Mexican politics, and I found it strange that the Mexican politicians in their Congress were debating social issues, and the idea that came to mind is an American idea that we're arguing about the curtains while the house is burning. It's time to stop arguing about things that really have they don't have any importance. When it comes down to the real issues, what is harming America? What is harming America is that too many people have decided that the correct attitude is a bad attitude. It's an attitude that doesn't involve the work ethic. It's an attitude that attacks the family. It's an attitude that attacks successful people. That is an attitude of individuals who want to consume but don't want to invest, don't want to work hard and build something. It's an attitude of people who want to continue to destroy. And if you want to continue that attitude, you may just win. But if you manage to destroy the United States of America, you're going to destroy for everybody. There needs to be balance. There is no free money. The government can't just, click on a keyboard and make phantom cash by adding digits into some kind of an account. There's nothing wrong with paying taxes, but those in government need to be respectful of the people who pay taxes. That money needs to be administered honorably, respecting the people who pay. And you can't experiment socially and ruin the country financially. So therefore, those people who see, I don't believe it's over. Again, it's over when I give up. It's over when you give up. It's over when good and decent people give up. And if we're going to go forward, we need to set some standards. And what we're not seeing is an agreement on what these standards should be. I believe that we should pay off the national debt. I believe that we should stop spending. And all of us, we have to influence the elected officials with our power to harass and annoy. If they will not behave like decent people and do the right thing because doing the right thing is correct, then we have to force them to do the right thing. And the only way I know of right now is to get in their face every day as long as they're in politics. But what are we going to be asking for? There's concern about ISIS. And I know the big thing when you're discussing ISIS is boots on the ground. And I would agree with you, but I would disagree that those boots have to be American boots. The reason, think about it this way. Somewhere around March of, I believe, 2003, or let me see here, September 11th. Yeah, somewhere around March of 2002. Maybe wrong. But President Bush and the Congress decided that military action was necessary in Afghanistan. We're coming into 2015. That's 12 years. 12 years of giving financial assistance to Afghanistan, 12 years of giving military assistance to Afghanistan, 12 years of training police, soldiers, teachers, and the spirit of Afghanistan did not grow into a spirit of love and devotion for freedom, liberty, and independence. I'm not going to say that I'm not belittling the efforts of American soldiers, the efforts of those in the military. The point that I'm making is that the people of Afghanistan could not capture the opportunity that they were given by being freed from the Taliban and Al Qaeda. 12 years is a lot of time. 12 years is a lot of time to change hearts and souls. Hearts and minds, if you want. Hearts, minds, and souls. And the end result of all that effort in Afghanistan is that these violent, aggressive individuals who murder, rape, and steal at will still exist. You and I have a responsibility to police our own. I live here in El Paso, Texas, USA. And if I see something, some kind of corruption in city government, city employee, I have a responsibility to do something. Because if I don't, not only will they harm people here in El Paso, Texas, but they will harm people outside of El Paso, Texas. We have to police our own. The people of Afghanistan have to police their own. People in Iraq have to police their own. It may be hard. Here in America, the only thing that Americans need to do is realize that this petty, childish, immature politics is destroying the country. It's causing a financial crisis, and it's causing a spiritual crisis where people are no longer interested in the work ethic. They're no longer interested in working for themselves and building a life for themselves, where they spend their time destroying, attacking successful people such as Mr. Mitt Romney, even attacking me. I'm not applying for government. I'm not getting any assistance from government. I'm doing what I have to do. And even though I don't have employment in what I studied, in the degree that I got, every day I go out and I do the best I can. And I'm not asking anybody to carry my burden. Okay, so therefore it is essential that in all issues related to national security and peace, we have to find equal partners. We have to find people who are good and decent and who are willing to stand up for what is good and decent and fight evil. When we allow, through our inaction, through our bad attitude, through our negative attitude, for systems to break down, we suffer the consequences. And in fixing it, we also suffer harsh consequences. I know there's a lot of people who don't want to stand up and confront the elected officials in Congress, the Republicans in Congress. I know Democrats are always going to be Democrats. I don't care about trying to influence or change the mind of a liberal or Democrat. Laura Ingraham used to be here in El Paso, Texas. Well, her radio program used to be aired in El Paso, Texas, and when she restructured her radio program, Glenn Beck came in, and her Laura Ingraham's program was no longer available here. And in my opinion, that's one messed up human being. Anyway, but he keeps talking about how we need to find a way to be nicer to the opposition and find a way to be pleasant to the opposition so we can find common ground. My point of view is, why in the world would I want to find common ground with people who believe in abortion? Why would I want to find common ground with people who believe in socialism and communism? Why would I want to find common ground with individuals who happen to believe that I exist to work so they can have a free ride? If they believe in the values that we believe in, if they value human life, they value the work ethic, personal responsibility, self-reliance, if they value freedom, liberty, and independence, if they are people who are willing to work and making their dreams come true, and by doing so contributing to the amount of opportunities in jobs, employment, and business investment, then there's something that we can work with. But these individuals that Mr. Glenn Beck says we have to be nice and polite to and try to work with are individuals who are dire opposites to everything that we stand for. And so even though I didn't want to, went ahead and spoke on some issues on the second tile of standards. Uh, and again, I've been saying it. I know it's hard. It's hard to believe that politicians are going to listen to emails, phone calls, regular mail, visits at town hall meetings, and demonstrations. We have seen that they're not going to at the moment. But they're not going to deny the public will forever. Eventually, they're going to have to realize that there's going to be a harsh consequence for continuing to go against the public will. Today, October 2nd, 2014, on the news, we're seeing individuals in Hong Kong go up against the communist military machine of China. They have a lot to fear about being assassinated, executed, murdered, tortured, arrested, being held as prisoners of conscience. There's an American hero who went into Mexico. I believe his name is Tamarizi, and he's being held in American prison. If you understood Mexico the way I understand Mexico, you realize there is no justice system in Mexico. It's all corrupt. I see a lot of animosity in the Mexican society towards Americans. I highly suspect that this is an opportunity to torture an American. That the Mexicans see this as an opportunity to torture a Mexican, just as they would like to torture every American. There's the opinion in Mexico is, how dare these Americans deny Mexicans their American dream. Mexicans have no American dream, but they believe they do because they've been told that they do by American politicians and by their own politicians. And when Americans stand up and say, we're not going to allow you, anger and rage and animosity grows inside the Mexican society. And it'd be nice if people could recognize the value of decency, of politeness, of respecting the rule of law. We must understand that there are people who are never going to, for whatever reason, respect you and I. They've convinced themselves that their answer lies within American borders. And I happen to believe that the American people who are good and decent, who understand the danger that this country is in by importing so many foreign nationals, who don't respect the rule of law. That's the problem. Allowing people to come into American society isn't the problem. America does benefit by legal immigration. But allowing people who have an attitude towards lawlessness, who have a negative attitude, who destroy, they're not builders. Mexico exists as proof that they are not builders. Mexico exists as proof that the people of Mexico are destroyers. I mean, I talked about not feeling good about talking bad about people, but in reality, the Mexican president is corrupt. The administration of the Mexican military is corrupt. Law enforcement in Mexico at any level is corrupt. Bureaucrats are corrupt. The citizens are corrupt. I just paid for my Texas state registration. I paid the amount. I didn't go to a Texas government office and give a bribe to somebody that I know so they could give me the license plates at a discount and then they pocket the money. That's what happens in Mexico. The apartment that I rent, I pay my rent, and in that rent is a property tax. The owner of the building has to pay that property tax, or he runs the risks of losing his property. But in Mexico, when the property tax collector shows up, most people offer him a bribe. He puts the money in his pocket, and he writes out a receipt that person paid their taxes. I wish people would understand that I'm here on the border. I was born in Mexico. I've lived in the border town of El Paso, Texas, USA, for over 40 years. I speak the language. I know this culture very well. Uh, I have no reason to hate or to want to harm or hurt anybody. I believe in everything that is great in life. I've read many articles about being positive, optimistic, realistic, and in being realistic, being grateful for what we have and enjoying it. I think the problem in the modern culture is negativity. There are so many people who spend their time looking around and all they see is negativity. According to them, everything it doesn't work. The reality is what works is what we make work. What we really need to, what these people need to tell themselves, who practice a negative ideology, is that in reality they don't work. Their perception is a bad perception. How they view life is a negative way. And if all you can do is look at what's bad in life, the only thing you're going to manage to gather in life is bad. Your life is going to look bad if all the ideas in your head are ideas of everything that is bad. It might help if you started to look at what is good. I tell people, the change, because when I started writing because I studied psychology and I understand that there are people who are hurting and suffering. And I wanted to offer a resource to help people structure their thoughts so they would restructure their emotions, and by restructuring their emotions they will have better behaviors and they will have a better life. And I still work on that mission. I still write articles on what I call positive ideation, or what I laughingly call Jesseism. But in life, it really is up to us to find what is good. We are what is good. We may not believe in the Republicans. We don't have any reason to believe in Democrats or Obama, but I hope we can believe in ourselves. Because there's nobody stopping us from emailing. There's nobody stopping me from making this video. I want you to be inspired. I want you to love this country as much as I do. I laughingly say that when I was 4 years old, I was illegally imported into this country. I don't mind being here. This United States of America is a great country. There's nothing stopping me from enjoying myself. There's nothing stopping me from buying a soda, an ice cream, a book, taking a walk in a park. Everything that I enjoy. Watching a program of comedy, having this friend or that friend, pursuing a romantic interest with this or that girl. I mean, it's freedom. It's freedom. It's alive and well in America. And if all you're going to do is live a life with those negative ideas that the liberal news media has brainwashed you with, you are going to see everything as bad. You're going to believe that it's not worth it. But if you start looking inside yourself and you find that good and decent person who still believes in what is good and decent, then you'll find that it really isn't over. You'll find that it's worth fighting for, and that we can together influence these politicians so they start paying down the national debt. They start finding healthy, structured strategies to deal with national security issues. And I do believe it has to be a partnership. America can't handle everybody else's business. People need to come up to our level. We don't need to throw ourselves down to their level. To use a poor word, but we have evolved. There's a lot of the modern world, the modern industrial complex that I don't appreciate. However, there's a lot of commodities in the modern industrial complex that are great. Having running water inside your home, electricity, the advantages of modern medicine. I work in an industry that without a vehicle I wouldn't be able to make money. And so we have to, if we want to go forward, if it really is our sincere desire to see America survive and to be better, we're the ones that are going to have to do it. We can't wait around for an answer from politicians. We see what they do. Obama is obsessed with nonsense, foolish ideas that don't have anything to do with real life. The real life is about living within your means, managing your money accordingly, properly. Your personal life is your personal life. I could care less what you do. If you ask me, I would tell you. If you ask me, I would tell you to give Jesus Christ a try. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you ask, that's what I would tell you. I would tell you that I found balance, meaning, and purpose in life through Jesus Christ. I was talking to a person, written an article and about positive ideation, everything that I believe, focusing on the good, putting our best foot forward, looking at what is good and decent in life, picking ourselves up with simple, healthy pleasures of life, like a beverage or a good food or music or literature, conversation with a friend, conversation with family members, interacting socially, and using that as a means to feel good. And I know that people don't want to hear about God, but I told her, I know there are people hurting and suffering. That's why I started to write articles trying to help people to restructure their thoughts from a negative ideology to a positive ideology. And I told her, I know that these people exist. And if I stop mentioning the name of Jesus Christ, they will continue to hurt. It is important. It is necessary. This is our fight. We may feel weak. We may feel inferior and incapable, but we have to stand up and fight. And it is in other parts of the world, people are putting themselves in front of armed individuals, confronting death to stand up for freedom. Here in America, right now, the only thing that good and decent people have to do is be informed on the issues, know the candidates, register to vote, communicate with your elected officials every single day of their life through emails, phone calls, letters, visiting them at town hall meetings, and there has to be demonstrations. They have to see the people who are going to come and get them if they don't get their act in order. I believe in myself. Again, it's over when I decide to quit. Not the kind of person that quits. As long as I'm alive, as long as I got breath in my body, I'm going to keep working, speaking on the issues, and hoping to offer people what I believe is a balanced, correct vision for American public policy that emphasizes the freedom, the liberty, and independence of the individual, and forces elected officials to keep it simple, to keep it to basic services, so that people can keep their money and build their life, work on their dreams. And by working on their dreams, building jobs, careers, and investment opportunities for their neighbors. Thank you for listening. I wish you well.